Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to be continuing our Romance of the Three Kingdoms XIII run. We are playing as Lu Su. We are doing a merchant run as of right now. We might want to pivot to doing some other kind of run, but to be honest, we're almost complete with the merchant complete quest, so we might just see it through to the end for the merchant victory, that is, winning through wheeling and dealing and capitalism. We're doing this largely because Romance Three Kingdoms VIII will be coming out later this year sometime, and so this is what we're going to be doing. Last episode, we became a grand merchant, so we upgraded to the penultimate kind of level, gaining access to new abilities and new types of trades that we can conduct. We have our, our comrades, the great people we've assembled, who are quite good. We have these guys mainly buying and selling food, manipulating food prices, starving out the peasants, and etc. And in doing this, we are making a ton of money. And so we are looking to maintain the chaotic situation politically between all of these parties, making sure no one gets too strong so that we have enough time to accumulate enough funds to win the game. I think it's 500,000 ducats is what we require, and so this is what we're going to be heading for, and this is what we will be doing. So we will continue wheeling and dealing. Big nice. So the balance of power is starting to shift. The Sima Yi army has taken Liu Yang from Cao Cao. We are also doing a banquet up here in Ma Teng's territory, looking to impress the locals. In this case, we will invite Peng De to the banquet. We've been doing this from time to time as we've been visiting foreign places, looking to meet new people. That way, maybe we can be able to influence them, send letters, this type of stuff, and we will meet all these guys. For the most part, Peng De is kind of the only particularly good one, so we probably should have gone out of our way to go to the capital of Ma Teng's force, but these guys are not that good. Wang Lang's okay, Chen Dao's okay, and that's us. We're more than okay. But... and they like us because we held a banquet. We won't spend time conversing with them, and a couple of them became friends with each other, which is of course nice. It's nice to have friends, but what we were talking about earlier is Sima Yi has managed to take Liu Yang from Cao Cao. So Cao Cao is starting to get pushed in. We need to find a way to push in Lu Bu, and we actually invested in Cao Cao's army a smaller amount with the hopes that they would turn on Lu Bu. I think we're going to do maybe the same with Liu Bei, but we want Lu Bu to stop attacking Sun Jian, which is a bit of a vibe. We sent our biggest investment yet into Sun Jian's army, and so we're hoping that he's able to do something to fight back against Lu Bu here. Otherwise, we lose our investment, and of course, Lu Su was originally loyal to the south, this region, and so it's always sad to see them crushed. We had a little bit of an event last episode that we didn't quite cover, where we went to the bedroom, and now it does appear that we have a daughter. She's not going to grow up for like another 14-15 years, and so it's not in the context of the game. She's not going to... It's likely that we finish this game before 14 years are up, and so she won't come of age. But why don't we just name her Lu Kui? That's fine enough for us, and she will be born to us. And so, child rearing. When a child is born between you and your spouse reaches the age of 4, a policy for educating children is adopted at the main base. When visiting the main base, you can hear how your children is growing from spouses and comrades. We're probably going to win before this, but if we end up rearing our child, that will be a thing we do. So the massive 50k loan that we lent to Sima Yi is coming due. We brought a letter. Thank you for your assistance, Honorable Lu Su. Our army has grown well. Grateful to you. As promised, we will repay 67,000 gold, interest included. I hope we can maintain a pleasant friendship, which means we can throw in an absolutely massive kind of loan to them or investment to them now of 100,000. Which is really going to crank them up. I'm not even sure we want to invest this much into them, considering they're making gains already. I think we're even going to just go for the kind of slightly more conservative. Well, let's go with the slightly more conservative 50,000. The profit rate's still decent. We'll save the 100,000 because we're not generating money that quickly. We'll save the 100,000 for Sun Jian. And in this way, we'll gain a bunch of influence. I think that we do need a certain level of influence. Yes, so we need a certain level of influence, at least 1,000, in order to become a black dragon. So Maybe we should have thrown in more, but we'll throw in the max for Sun Jian's army in the south. Just a reminder of how we're making money is we're buying supplies for a little under their price in gold, and then we're selling supplies where there's shortages. In this case, 0.61 supplies will equal 1 gold. And so here, if we use Zhang Zhao, for example, to sell 15,000 supplies, or in this case 14,254, we will acquire 29,000 gold, and then we will use this gold to buy more supplies to sell in places where there are shortages, so that we can accumulate as much gold as possible, so that we can invest in these nations, so that we can kind of massage and influence what's going on the map. Unfortunately, we also have some people out buying stuff. Big nice. Ooh, strategies away. That'll give us some leadership. Lifespan's not important in this scenario where everyone has max lifespan, but it is in normal scenarios. But unfortunately, Lu Bu has pressed into Huiji, and now they're pressing here, and that's 21,000 troops. That's a lot of troops. So it looks like things are looking pretty bad for Sun Jian, especially if they're going to be rumbling with Liu Bei, which does look to be the case. So hopefully we will have enough time with which to help them out. But I think what we're going to try and do is we're snaking our way across to Yu Zhang. I think we're going to try and recruit officers out from under Lu Bu as a means of weakening them, because this is the main sort of retaliation that we can take directly, because we can't raise troops ourselves as a humble merchant. So we get Zheng Liao as our friend here, who is far and away the best officer that is available to Lu Bu. If we can snake him, this would be really nice. I don't know if it's exactly possible, but he is also kind of our favorite character, or one of our favorite characters in all of the Three Kingdoms. So let's take a look at him if we can. He is now, should be in our circle of trust. Why is he not in our circle of trust? He's a friend. Okay, well, we can look at him by looking at the city officer and going, just kind of taking a look through and finding Zheng Liao. And looking at his stats, he's good at horses, and he's pretty solid with the training and patrolling, and he's got a very balanced kind of move set, or not move set, but like, what is it, ability set in relates to battle. And like the wind, he increases allied mobility, gives morale, and combos well. 8 speeds a lot, so he goes really quick, and he also has a lot of defense. A lot of the guys who are good at dueling and heroism tend not to have a lot of defense. Zheng Liao defended against an invasion with just 300 troops for an extended period of time, which is probably why they give him a good chunk of defense. But other than that, he's got pretty solid stats. We gave him some items, though, in order to kind of help him out. We could check his items. We gave him these items in order to help ourselves become friends with him, but it looks like he's one of the companions as well, or he's getting a boost from something. Or he's getting a boost from his rank with Lu Bu's army, which is bringing him to 100 leadership and 100 war. So if we could steal him, this would be really good for us and really bad for Lu Bu, who's currently beating up Sun Jian. Alright, so very soon after he becomes friends with us, he wants to kind of pawn off his adoptive daughter to us, as is the tradition. This will be our 3rd marriage. I think we're just going to accept. She is interested in martial training. We're anticipating this is not going to influence our comrade setup too much, but we will get married, and it will be nice for us. We'll skip the ceremony because we've seen it a few times now. Okay, she's actually not warfare-oriented. She's, in fact, leadership-oriented, which is going to be a lot better for us. And she has a very, very impressive leadership. The wives are always incredibly strong. 93 leadership, 82 war, 77 intelligence. Very, very strong stat line. This gets boosted up to 87. Of course, she doesn't have, very good, individual aptitudes or what have you. She's okay with siege. And so this is perhaps a little bit of a drawback. But she does pull us in the direction of leadership, where I think ideally we would kind of want the 5-5-5 deal, and so she is pulling us in the right direction. So this is going to be pretty nice. We need more governance people, we need more leadership people, and it would be preferable to have this. If we take a look, I think we can also see where exactly Zheng Liao places in, and I guess he's going to be over here. We have him as a friend. Why is he not up here? Oh, is it because he's too loyal to Lu Bu? This is the problem, I think. I think he's not even showing up here because he's considered sworn brothers with Lu Bu at the start. Oh, no, wait, here he is. Okay, there we go. So we would love to move him into being our comrade, but we can't until we get him to leave Lu Bu's force. But he is up here with the leadership crew as well. Alright, so we're gonna try and convince him to leave Lu Bu's force. A strong warrior like you does not belong under Lu Bu, and of course he's insulted because he has honor. Damn it. We hate it when that happens. We did make them angry. Big sad. Alright, the investments haven't gone so well for Sun Jian. Our army is facing untold financial trouble as well. Could we be asked to be excused from a repayment? We're going to excuse all payment, which will increase affinity and influence. And now we will have a ton of affinity and influence. The rapport will increase. And this should satisfy the requirement we have in terms of... we're getting all these things through. This should satisfy the requirement we have in terms of this. We need only get to 200,000 funds, which we're pretty close to. We just need to do a few more trades, a few more arts of the deal. And then we'll go and fund Sun Jian some more. We've become besties with Zhu Huang, who is another excellent officer in Lu Bu's army, and we are going to try and convince him to join us instead. Oh, man. Why do they all have so much honor? This is terrible. We did make him angry. Damn it. Excellent. The loan from Cao Cao's army is due. We brought a letter from Cao Cao. Though the army has gained advancements, I cannot say we have declined or advanced. Okay, as promised, we're going to repay the gold. We just gave him a little bit of a loan, and we hope that we can maintain a good relationship. Okay, well that's nice of him. Currently, there's kind of a lot of combat going on in the Central Plains, but overall status quo is kind of being maintained. It looks like Cao Cao is actually even being pushed out of that city by Sima Yi. With 200,000 saved up, we should now be able to ascend to being a black dragon. Requires 200,000 in funds and at least 100,000 influence with at least one force, which we have with the Sun Jian army, and we will swap to a black dragon. Big upgrade, big nice. Which will give us active or new abilities in here. Transaction, where we could sell stuff at a large profit. Purchase specialty, that's the same. Repair shop, the same. Supply deals, the same. But now we have major investment, which seems to give quite a bit more. And force awareness, aid of force, surrender, exile, etc. We're going to see exactly what that gives while we're here in Hepu. In the city. So we're gonna see what new things we can maybe do with that. Force awareness. Alright, so we can have them banish, exile a follower. This would be useful if we wanted to specifically bring one of their guys onto their side. So maybe we should have invested in Lu Bu's army just so we could, you know, exile and then pick up the officers. We could request an assault. We could use influence to make a force surrender. It looks like we can't make them surrender anyone. We could give supplies to a force to increase your influence on them. So this is a new one as well. So we maybe would want to accumulate a ton of supplies with the Lu Bu's force just for the purpose of giving them supplies and then forcing them to banish their best officers so we can pick them up. And maybe we'll do that. But what we will do here for now is a major investment of 100,000, which is going to give them 100,000 troops. That's a lot of troops. 30,000 gold, 80,000 supplies, extra city troop proficiency, extra city fealty, and that's going to be really strong for them. 100,000 troops is no small thing. And so the Sun Jian's army now has a breath of fresh air where they have around 33,000 new troops in each of their cities, and which gives them kind of a lot of power. You know, if you take a look at where they're being pushed from, they're fighting Liu Bei. They should be in really good shape to push up into Liu Bei, and they're fighting over here against, you know, Lu Bu. Should have a lot of strength here, so that will help them out quite a bit. The loan we have coming in from the Ma Teng army is coming up. And also, selling food or giving food to these guys in exchange for favors doesn't really seem to be a very good rate. I think we're just going to push for the victory here a little bit and just try and accumulate a ton of money. Ma Teng, he's able to see big development because they did take a city off of Sima Yi. As promised, they will repay the 56,000 gold, and we can maintain a good, hopefully we can maintain a good relationship with them. I don't know if we're going to reinvest in them anymore, because we don't exactly want them to super jack Sima Yi up, and now Cao Cao is having trouble, and Cao Cao's getting jacked up. Maybe we do want to invest in Ma Teng, just not a whole lot. the money we've put into Sujian is causing them to push forward into Liu Bei here, which is going to be spectacular for them. Meng Huo is kind of just chilling in the corner and has been for some time. But maybe we come in, give a little bit more to them in Ma Teng's force. So I think we're going to give Ma Teng some money, but we're going to force him to exile Gan Ning. Gan Ning is nothing but poison to your army. Exile is the only choice. As you say, says Ma Teng. We use some of our influence towards him. He, of course, doesn't like that because Gan Ning is an absolute banger of a dude. And then we will invite Gan Ning to be our comrade. We're going to give up our son. Our son's not particularly useful, and Gan Ning will take his place. Gan Ning, the great hero of Wu. He's got quite a bit of war, good leadership. Officer of Wu, originally a member of the Bright Sails Pirates, discontent while serving under Huang Zhu, who was part of Liu Bao's force, kind of in the central southern portion of China, was recruited to Sun Quan to forces by Su Fei, earned Sun Quan's trust for his service against Huang Zhu, whom he previously served and didn't like very much, and Cao Cao at the Battle of Qi Bi. So he's going to be pretty good. He's already a friend with us, and so he will now be a part of our retinue, which is looking less and less like we're ever going to actually get to fight anyone, but if we did, boy, do we have the good officers for doing it. Excellent. Our loan from Meng Huo is just coming in, and we were thinking of going down there in order to request that he attack Liu Bei. He's been making some steps, but he mainly kept the same. They didn't get any new cities, and they repaid that 41,000. What we want is, right now, Meng Huo was fighting Sun Jian just a little while ago, and so what we want is we want to get Meng Huo, this guy down here, to attack Liu Bei up here in this region. And hopefully if that happens, we can get a little bit of pressure relieved. Well, actually, Liu Bei is not the problem. Lu Bu's the problem, but I don't know how we solve that problem. But I think if we dump money to Meng Huo, have him attack Liu Bei, and then dump money to Liu Bei and have him attack Lu Bu, this might help to allow Sun Quan to gain some territory either over here or in here. Doesn't really make too big a difference to us, but help him out. Or Sun Quan and / Sun Jian. Pretty big loan to Sima Yi army is due. Though we've gained your investments, we ended up losing some land. Our army's facing untold financial trouble as well. Could we ask to be executed from the repayment? So, the amount due is 40,000. I think we can excuse all the payment to increase affinity and influence. And then we're going to reinvest in them, but now we have a ton of influence, so we can get them to kind of send and exile whatever officers we want to get from them, of which there's a few that we would like to recruit, and so I think we will be doing that in just a moment here, namely Deng Ai. So we'll take a look here, and we will come in, and we'll go Force Awareness, and we will say, look, you know what, this guy, he's just not good for you. He's not good for you, but he's good for me. So we'll have you exile Deng Ai. And Deng Ai's rapport goes down. And then we can now, because Deng Ai is friends with one of our other guys, we can slot him in and we'll exchange him out for Zhu Sheng. Quite a bit better than Zhu Sheng. With the amount of leadership, intelligence, and war he's got. Overall, very well-rounded guy. He helped Zhang Hui capture and defeat Shu. If we read his bio, we'll see it. Officer of Wei participated in the battle against Shu after his talents were recognized by Sima Yi. Allied with Zhang Hui to defeat Shu, only to fall into conflict with Zhang Hui and be captured. Was sent to Luoyang as a prisoner and assassinated along the way. But he is a pretty strong guy, and so now he will be part of our force, which is going to be great for us. I think we're going to confirm here, of course. And then we're going to come back and we're going to actually do a huge investment in Sima Yi's army. He's getting pushed around, he's getting beaten down, and we took his best officer from him. So instead we're going to dump a ton of money back into him. The profit rate is really high because he's on his back heels right now. And so this will be probably, I think, the last investment we might make, with the understanding that as the rest of our investments come through, I think we might hit the 500,000 mark as all of our investments come through, at which point we will become the great overlord of China through the power of trade. So we went to our friend Lu Jun for some intelligence training, because kind of messing around with some of the other aspects of the games we haven't delved into too much this run. We, at the end of the training, have the opportunity to change our tactic from strategic age to fire technique if we can beat him in a debate. However, he's very good at debating, and we as a player are not very good at debating. He in fact is just a little bit above us in intelligence, and he has one more order, so this is going to be a little bit of a grim one for us, and so I think we have to try and think this out. See, the thing is it feels like whatever you do, the AI just like slaps you around. I think we might lead with an ignore, and then he's going to be on fate rolls. If he leads with a lore roll, then he will have all of his fate rolls available. And we're looking at fate, and we're looking at assert, provoke, retort. So he has fate in provoke and fate in assert. And so if he leads with this morale roll, for example, he will leave open both of his fate rolls for next turn. We can lead with a retort of our own, in which case we would only lose to the provoke, or an ignore. And if he does the provoke, then he will be locked out of doing it next turn. We will be locked out of doing retort, though, which is what beats provoke. So we could roll the dice a little bit here, and then save our ignores, or we could lead with an ignore. He's also on fire. Let's lead with our ignore. And he provokes us. So what we would have done would have worked out. So now we have an opportunity to do a lot of damage here. If we go with our retort, we're assuming that he kind of ignores, but if he doesn't ignore, this retort just jams him up pretty good. And then our next roll will be for lore, and he will be able to... We will have a lore here in our provoke, but why don't we go with the retort? I think he ignores us. And now we're in a situation where we're probably going to ignore next turn, because we are locked out of good options, so we're going to just ignore. And so now there's 2 more turns remaining, and we are in a position where he is very likely to ignore. And then he'll have all of his options available next turn. Fate roll is next, so I think we do not want to use our assert. Really tempting to do this to just... He does poorly if he doesn't ignore. We're gonna go with a provoke here. And he does in fact ignore us. And so it all comes down to the end, because we each roll 2 ignores, and we are in bad shape because... I think we messed it up. Wait, do we just... Okay, here we lose to the provoke or the assert. And here we beat the assert, but lose to the provoke. I think we're gonna try retort. And we get wrecked. The truth hurts. It hurts so bad. Alright, we challenged him to a rematch, and I wasn't gonna show this, but we beat him. We kind of guessed lucky. We put in an assert on him early on, and he did the wrong move, and so now we're in an excellent spot because... Okay, he is able to do kind of a variety of things. He's going to have to ignore us here while we do a retort, and we just have a lot of momentum because we got kind of, we caught him on the first move. We're going to retort, he's probably going to ignore, and then we are going to ignore, and then we are going to have a ton of flexibility going into the next move, where we are going to be able to guarantee have a good move going into lore that kind of does decently well. Oh, we don't have a... Wait, do we have a guaranteed move? Alright, I think we have to minimize damage, or actually, no, we just ignore again. We re-ignore. He can't do anything about this. And now he's locked into only being able to retort. We're going to provoke with max power, and the best he can do is ignore, but since we already have damage on him, we will be winning this duel. The duel of the wits. The battle of the wits. Lu Jun has proven to be unarmed. And we are victorious. So we gain intelligence. We became famed for defeating someone who is so smart in a debate. Yan Wan, for example, wants to talk to us. Big charmed, big nice. That's our wife. and we will learn fire technique, which is quite a bit better than what we had before. And we did that looking for some leadership experience at that time. Alright, so this is a huge repayment here, because we lent Sun Jian 100 ducats, and this kind of represents probably the beginning of the end of the run, because we had a lend money to Meng Kuo, Liu Bei, and Sun Jian, and then Sima Yi being the final one. Over the course of maybe like 4 months, we lent this, following the Sun Jian lending. So we're almost done here. Army's taken some steps. We've ended up keeping things the same. As promised, we'll repay the 160,000. We can maintain a pleasant friendship, and we will just kind of stick in with what we got, and not, pay them more money, because we don't need to. We just need to keep running it up. We got 100,000 coming in from Sima Yi, over 100,000 eventually, and so that will mark us getting to a 500,000, which I believe ends the scenario with a victory for us, and so we'll just collect those ducats and be back with the Sima Yi thing. While we train up our leadership, for example. We can debate him. Yeah. Gan Ning's debate's probably going to be uninteresting. We should win this pretty easy. So with our repayment from Ma Teng, we have amassed fortunes and achieved your goal as a merchant. Will you move to the ending? We're going to click yes, and we will get the merchant ending. Lu Su, the Black Dragon, has built up an unprecedented wealth, becoming the greatest merchant in the age. Gathering an immense amount of wealth as the Black Dragon, Lu Su brought the land into a new age, an age of capitalism. Commerce over war. With that shift in thought, countless heroes sheathed their swords, bound peace treaties, and pursued trade in search of wealth. The towering presence of Lu Su brought forth peace with profit, leaving the land with happiness and prosperity. A king whose name was not left in the history books, a true hero whose name was swept away in the winds of time. Aww. I think if you push even further, you can get better endings, but we have here our ending, and we'll have ourselves a little bit of a recap with the tales of what we've done. We formed a bond with Zhang Hui early on. Liu Kang formed a bond, who eventually allowed in Lu Jun, who's probably the best officer that we had overall. We married Yan Wan, who was very intelligent, 100 intelligence, big nice. We married Yao Rong as well. Looks like they're not tracking all of our friendships after the first couple. Here we married Mei Luan, and we don't have any battles to track because we didn't find a single battle. We won through investment in capitalism. Here we took the name Black Dragon, so this is going to be this is not normally how the summaries are. Normally the summaries have you to taking cities and this type of stuff. But Lu Bu got real big. He became a minister here. This was the state of affairs regarding the world stage. Cao Cao was in the north, Sima Yi over here. Liu Bei stretched across the middle, Sun Quan, Sun Jian kind of put in the bottom, and then we amassed enough wealth to end the game. And I think we're going to get a return to the loading screen. Hey, you know what today's festival is? We skipped that clip, whatever it was. We give thanks to the god of commerce, Black Dragon, right? I prayed at the shrine just this morning, asking for a raise on my allowance. That's how you get more money. Hey, that ain't exactly business, that's true. Well, the god of commerce is all about money, right? No problem at all. It's all the art of the deal, the art of the steal, baby. Lu Su? Hey, didn't think the very god of commerce would come down to the realm of mortals like this. Not something you'd ever dream of. Ha, don't be ridiculous. It's far more unbelievable that a merchant of the old tales would be walking around town without a care in the world. Yet, what brings you here today? You could have left the mortal world to us. I felt reliving the old days again, just a little bit. The hustle and bustle of the festival was a wonderful thing, with people's desires and emotions on full display. Oh, even after becoming a god of trade and capitalism. You still think that way? After gaining a mountain of wealth from manipulating the desires of men, aka buying food, causing prices of food to rise because there's a shortage, and then selling the food right back to the people. Yeah, okay. The food being the desire to eat, manipulating the desires of men. Yeah, the desire to eat, and being called a god. Well, that makes all those desires all the more precious. Black King manipulates the love of the hearts of men and the stomachs. That's a good bar over here. It's quite new and very well received, I hear. Ganding out for a drink. You gotta have it. There is. You should have told me sooner. Looks like we're gonna have a drink with our good friend Ganding. Let us enjoy our mortal lives. Gained the Great Merchant exploit and obtained Lusu's portrait. And we are returned to the starting screen, having completed the scenario. I hope you guys enjoyed the run. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I think we're gonna do another run because we didn't show a single battle, because we didn't need to fight a single battle. We won through trade, but that's like not a very good reflection of what the game's about, although sometimes it is if you want to do the trader route. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. YouTube algorithm thing. Excited for Romance of the Three Kingdoms VIII remake coming out hopefully soon. We don't know the timeline as of the recording of this video, but other than that, have a good day.